Welcome to Subramani. Today I'm going to talk about wealth, and something very funny about wealth is not earned. Wealth is a sincere effort at the whole body moving towards creating wealth, right? So people earn money, people squander it, people can't create wealth out of being rich. Yes, you can be rich by earning well, right? We have a lot of cricketers and film stars who earn well. Don't get me wrong, they are rich, but they have not been able to create wealth. So wealth has to be created. Wealth can't only be earned. Yes, earning is very important. Don't think I'm saying earning is not important. Wealth has to be created out of the earning. It can also be out of inheritance, but you can do that only if you have learned from your parents how to create wealth. Creating wealth is something which all of us have to do. Some people start with a inheritance, which means there is lesser effort, but still the whole attitude towards wealth creation is very different from just living well. Some people live well, some people create wealth, some people live well and create wealth. So what are the things which are necessary? First of all, wealth creation. What is wealth creation? Wealth creation is the process of investing in assets which grow well and which you don't you don't cut a tree, right? So if it's a mango tree which you have planted, you don't cut the tree, you pluck a couple of mangoes, yes, but you don't cut a tree. It's not something which is very straightforward, that you put a formula, you put money in PPF and it grows at 7% or 6%, whatever. I expect the interest rates will fall. So individuals should have a good understanding of the investment choices he or she is making, and in the initial stages, if you can't find a guru or a teacher, you will have to go to books and YouTube videos, etc., which will help you learning. And then there are enough talks, etc., which are available. Warren Buffett, for example, says so many things. The question is what all can you read, and what all can you understand, and what all can you interpret. For example, he says, don't save what is left after spending. First save and then spend what is available after saving, right? So these are simple things which are very easy to understand, and everybody talks about what Buffett says, but not everybody is able to interpret, and even worse, implement. So what are the first things? So first thing that I would think people need is patience and discipline. You have to have belief in the equity culture or in real estate, whatever is your main aim of investing or main asset class that you are investing. I'm an equities guy, so most of my examples would relate to equities. And so the patience to understand that wealth creation process takes time. Don't waste 20 years thinking that you can put more money and get a higher rate of return, etc., and create wealth. No, creating wealth is an attitude. So you need patience and discipline. It does not matter whether you choose mutual funds, real estate, gold, direct equity. You have to have patience to understand how the market behaves. No, I'm not saying you need to predict the market, but you need to understand how the market behaves. There is no shortcuts to wealth creation, because it's a function of N. Being impulsive, listening to people, falling for tips. You want to do all that, earmark a separate amount and say, I will earmark 1 lakh or 2 lakhs for tips. If I earn more than that, I will remove it and keep it somewhere else. So I have this 2 lakhs for a tipster. So I will do 10,000 worth of tips, or 20,000 worth of tips, or 30,000 worth of tips, whatever is the number. If that 30 becomes 50, you take 20 and put it elsewhere, right? You have only 2 lakhs for your satta, as they call it, right? So have that patience and discipline, separate it. Don't say, I will not do satta. You will do. Market is very tempting. Trading calls are very easy to get. Absolutely meaningless, perhaps. Maybe you will make no money, but you will get trading calls. The media is full of trading calls. You can get newsletters, you can get TV channels, blogs, YouTube videos, all waiting to give you tips. Earmark a separate amount of money. It's like earmarking time for entertainment. As a student, you earmarked some time, right? You didn't say, I'll study 24 hours. So you earmarked the time, maybe half an hour, maybe 1 hour. That is exactly what you will earmark for your satta. Make sure that you have an evolving appetite for risk. Don't surround yourself with people saying तू बहुत risk ले रहा है and all that. Meet people who made money in equity. Meet people who have made money in real estate, whoever it is, somebody around you, whichever asset class you choose. And I'm not even saying you should choose one asset class over the other. You can choose a mix depending on the amount of money that you have. So your risk appetite should keep evolving. You cannot really get into you can't learn cycling by keeping both your feet on the ground, right? You're afraid of falling, so you keep both your feet on the ground. You will never learn to cycle. You will never learn to swim if you don't leave the shore, right? You cannot keep saying, yes, people when at the starting can swim near the shore, but you will still have to swim. So at some stage when you develop confidence, you will swim in the middle of the pool. And if you're swimming in the sea, obviously you'll not be able to swim very close to the, you can swim very close to the shore, but it would be crowded, right? So your risk appetite should evolve. So initially you may you may buy 50 shares, 100 shares. Slowly you will go to 200 shares, 500 shares. It should evolve. It should not happen that you're stuck on the quantity of transactions that you will do, or saying, I will not take exposure more than this. Your capacity to take risk, because also you're earning more. So your ability, your risk-taking ability and all that increase. Investing is about calculated risk. It's not about not taking any risk at all, and also understanding the difference between risk and variability. Obviously, mutual funds or equity investments which you make will fluctuate in value. You should know whether it is a permanent loss and should you get out, or whether it's a temporary loss and you will get back your money after some time. So diversify your assets, diversify your funds. You should have some equity, debt, maybe some gold. Real estate, you really can't buy a small chunk till you make a lot of money. You can't say, I will buy 25,000 rupees of real estate. And unfortunately, no real estate asset is available broken into small bits. I would love it if it was available, but the problem is it's not available. So diversify your funds. Make sure that you are into, if you are going to choose equity, make sure that you choose some large cap, some mid cap. Though I don't believe in this distinction, but yeah, you have a choice. So, but you don't need more than 2 funds if you are investing 15,000-20,000 rupees a month, and you need 4 or 5 funds when you reach about 5-6 lakhs a month. You never need more than that, right? So choose your topmost asset class for investing. Is it equity? Is it mutual fund, equity through the mutual fund? Is it gold? Is it silver? Whatever is your choice, choose it. And as of now, there is enough evidence that it has to be equity, because gold can look good during times of crisis and make you feel like, oh my God, I missed out. But that's not true. So you want to do an SIP in gold, that's great. But having gold and debt more than 20% in your portfolio or 25% in your portfolio, I am not assuming you have any immediate needs. I am not talking of the tactical move into debt because you have a goal to meet. Generally, overall, if you are about 75-80% in equity, 10% in debt and 10% in gold, you wouldn't have done too badly. You will build real estate later on in life, which will come out of selling some of these assets only. You have equity of 80%. You will sell some equity, you will borrow some money and buy a house. So your topmost class for investments, assets which you choose, start reading. Please start reading. Start reading by getting the balance sheets of the companies in which you wish to invest, right? So if you want to invest in whichever company, you want to invest in Biocon, you want to invest in Infosys, go and read about it. It's very difficult to understand what product they make. So at least you need to understand what they do broadly and why they do, how they sell. Those processes you have to learn, which comes very nicely when you read the balance sheet of the company. Where is the balance sheet available? Every company puts up the balance sheet on its website. So go to the Infosys website, you will find it there. You go to the Fortis Hospital website, you will find it there. You go to Biocon website, you will find it there. You don't have to search for it anymore. After having said all this, stop concentrating on what the market does. Market will of course do what it has to do. You should learn to concentrate on your goals, because your goals are far more important. You see this goal-based investing, You can be rich too with goal-based investing is what the name of the book which I wrote with Pattabhiraman. And that's it. Concentrate on your goals, because the market will go up, market will go down, prime ministers will come, there will be war with Pakistan, there will be skirmishes with China, a lot of these things will happen, there will be the virus. So you don't concentrate on that, you concentrate on your goals. Buy and sell as per your goal. So if you have a 10-year goal, this is not a bad time to be buying equity. If you have a 5-year goal, this is not a great time to be buying equity, because we do not know when we will come out of this corona problem. We are sure, we are confident that we will come out. We have no clue when. If you do not know when, this is not a great time to think that I should put money for 2 years in equity. Maybe equity will do brilliantly in 2 years, maybe it will do badly. But if it's a 10-year view, take equity. If it is anything less than 10, take a huge amount of debt. Like if it is 7 years, you take some 50%, 60% in debt, another 40% in equity, and keep looking, because after 2-3 years, if the market has not moved anywhere, then it's your dilemma. For 3 years, should you remain in equity at all? So if the goal is a crucial goal, get more into debt if you have to achieve it. If it's something which you can postpone, like buying a house, which is the second house or a third house, then you can say, okay, thoda aage piche chalega. But if it is daughter's 12th standard fees to be paid for engineering, you don't have time on that. So concentrate on your goals more than concentrating on the markets. Thank you.